Roki Sasaki has looked like a completely different pitcher since the All-Star break. On Thursday night at Dodger Stadium he proved it again. 5 dominant innings. Just 2 hits allowed. 7 strikeouts. Mookie Betts delivered a 2-run double before Mariners starter Bryan Woo had even found his rhythm. And Dalton Rushing? He launched a 3-run homer that put the game completely out of reach. Dodgers 6. Mariners 2. Series win. And the best part? They did all of this without Shohei Ohtani in the lineup. This is the complete breakdown. Every verified fact. Right now. The fastest, most accurate source for MLB news, analysis, and everything happening in the world of baseball. If this is your first time here, subscribe right now and turn on that notification bell, because we cover the biggest stories in the sport every single day and you do not want to miss what is coming. Tonight we are breaking down the series finale between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Seattle Mariners at Dodger Stadium, a game that showcased 2 of the most important things this team needs heading into August. First, Roki Sasaki continuing his remarkable transformation in the second half of the season. And second, the depth of the Dodgers lineup stepping up and delivering a convincing victory on a night when Shohei Ohtani was given the day off to protect his knee. We have the complete game breakdown, every key moment, the individual performances that decided this one, and the context that makes this series win significant for the Dodgers' championship ambitions. Stay with us the whole way through. Let's get into it. Coming into Thursday night, the Dodgers had already secured the series with their 4-2 victory on Wednesday. Eric Lauer's masterclass had made sure of that. But winning the series finale meant something extra. It meant taking 2 out of 3 from the Mariners at home, extending the current home winning streak, and heading into the August 3rd trade deadline with momentum rather than questions. The Dodgers entered Thursday at 68 wins and 40 losses, still the best record in all of Major League Baseball. For a team that has its sights firmly on a 3rd consecutive World Series championship, every game won in the regular season is another brick in the foundation. But what made Thursday's result particularly meaningful was who was not in the lineup. Shohei Ohtani was given the day off. Dave Roberts made the decision to rest his biggest star, keeping him out of the designated hitter spot to give his left knee an additional day of recovery. With the trade deadline approaching and the entire second half of the season still ahead, protecting Ohtani from any unnecessary physical risk was the clear priority. In his place, Teoscar Hernández took over as the designated hitter. And the rest of the lineup had an opportunity to show that the Dodgers are genuinely not a one-man team. They took full advantage. Before we get into the specific moments of Thursday's game, it is important to understand the broader context of what Roki Sasaki has become since the All-Star break, because the transformation has been remarkable. At the start of the 2026 season, Sasaki struggled with everything a young pitcher faces when adjusting to Major League Baseball for the first time. Pitch counts that climbed too quickly. Command that wavered in the middle innings. A tendency to unravel after one bad inning rather than recovering and continuing to compete. His ERA sat above 5 for extended stretches of the first half, and there were real questions about whether he would develop into the frontline starter the Dodgers signed him to be. Since the All-Star break, the answer has been emphatically yes. In his 3 most recent appearances entering Thursday, Sasaki had posted a 1.50 ERA, a number that belongs among the elite starters in the National League. Against the Yankees, he held them to 1 unearned run across 5 2/3 innings. Against the Mets last Friday he was even better. 1 run on 3 hits across 7 full innings with 9 strikeouts. 2 consecutive quality starts against 2 of the best lineups in the National League. Against the Mariners on Thursday he was dominant again. This time for 5 innings before 1 wobble in the 6th reminded everyone that he is still a young pitcher finding his consistency. But the trend is clear. Roki Sasaki is figuring out Major League Baseball. And at the age of 23 with a fastball that can touch triple digits and a splitter that drops off the table, the ceiling on what he can become is genuinely frightening for the rest of the league. The Dodgers established the tone of this game before the Mariners had even properly warmed up. Roki Sasaki handled the top of the first inning efficiently despite needing 20 pitches to get through it. A 1-out base runner was stranded and Seattle came away with nothing. The inning was not perfect but it was effective. Sasaki got out of trouble and handed things back to the offense. The Dodgers wasted no time. Mariners starter Bryan Woo came in with a solid reputation. His underlying numbers suggested he had been pitching better than his 4.37 ERA all season, and he was 1 strike away from completing a scoreless first inning on just 21 pitches. But Mookie Betts stepped into the batter's box in a 2-strike count with 2 runners on base and delivered one of the most important swings of the entire series. A 2-strike, 2-run double. Betts did not give in to the count, did not expand the zone and did not try to do too much. He stayed within himself, recognized a pitch he could drive, and sent it into the gap to score both runners. 2-0 Dodgers before the Mariners had even recorded their first out of the game. Site index equals 14-1. Betts delivered a 2-strike, 2-run double to give the Dodgers a third consecutive first-inning lead over Seattle/Site. A detail that speaks to how consistently this lineup has been able to score early in this series. 3 games, 3 first-inning leads. That kind of early pressure forces opposing pitchers to chase the game from the start, and it sets up the Dodgers bullpen to work from a position of comfort rather than desperation. For Bryan Woo, it was the beginning of a long night. He would go on to allow 5 runs and 5 hits across 5 innings while striking out 8, solid strikeout numbers, but not enough to keep pace with what the Dodgers offense had in store for him. The Dodgers added insurance in the 4th inning through a sequence that ended with one of the biggest swings of the entire series. After Betts' 2-run double had established the early lead, the Dodgers were looking to push their advantage beyond comfortable territory. In the 4th inning, with runners on base and Bryan Woo's pitch count climbing, Dalton Rushing stepped into the batter's box in a situation that had the potential to completely decide the game. He connected with a 3-run home run, his 12th of the season, that cleared the fence and pushed the Dodgers' lead to 5-0. Site index equals 13-1. Dalton Rushing hit a 3-run homer, Teoscar Hernández added a solo shot, and the Los Angeles Dodgers beat the Seattle Mariners 6-2 on Thursday night/Site. At 5-0 with Roki Sasaki cruising through the Mariners lineup, this game was effectively over. 5 runs of cushion against a team that had been scoring inconsistently all series gave the Dodgers enormous flexibility in how they managed the rest of the game, which pitchers to use, how many outs to ask from each reliever, and how aggressively to protect the lead. For Rushing, the home run was the highlight of a genuinely productive series for him as a hitter. He had been contributing throughout the homestand, and on Thursday his most important at-bat produced exactly the result the Dodgers needed. His home run did not just add 3 runs to the scoreboard, it changed the entire atmosphere inside the stadium and made it clear to the Mariners that they were not coming back from this one. Roki Sasaki was absolutely in command through the first 5 innings. Site index equals 11-1. Sasaki dominated through the first 5 innings, allowing just 2 hits while working with a 5-0 lead/Site that is an elite stretch of pitching by any measure. Working with a large lead against a lineup that had scored 7 runs in the series opener, Sasaki kept the Mariners completely off balance, mixing his fastball, his splitter, and his breaking ball with the kind of sequencing and command that has defined his second-half performances. His oversized bright yellow glove, a quirky detail that has become something of a signature for him at Dodger Stadium, was visible on every pitch, and the Mariners hitters had almost no comfortable at-bats during those first 5 innings. He generated 7 strikeouts across his outing, a number that reflects both the quality of his stuff and his ability to put hitters in difficult counts and then finish them. The 6th inning was different. Site index equals 13-1. The right-hander wobbled in the 6th, giving up 2 runs, including 1 on a bases-loaded walk to Cal Raleigh, and 3 hits as the Mariners closed to 5-2/Site. The trouble started when what could have been a routine single skipped past Sasaki and turned into a leadoff triple. Randy Arozarena followed with an RBI double, and suddenly Sasaki was pitching under real pressure for the first time all night. The bases-loaded walk to Raleigh added another run, and with the Mariners having trimmed the deficit to 5-2 and the situation getting uncomfortable, the Dodgers made a move. Jack Dreyer came in from the bullpen and immediately ended the threat. Site index equals 11-1, striking out pinch hitter Rob Refsnyder before Weston Wilson grounded out to end the threat. Freddie Freeman salvaged shortstop Mookie Betts' errant throw with a leaping tag on Wilson for the 3rd out/Site. It was a heads-up defensive play from Freeman that prevented the inning from getting any worse, and it preserved the 3-run lead that the Dodgers would carry to the finish line. Sasaki's final line: 5 1/3 innings, 7 strikeouts, 2 runs allowed. Site index equals 13-1. His ERA dropped to 4.64, the lowest it's been/Site all season. A clear sign that the second-half version of Roki Sasaki is becoming a genuinely reliable piece of the Dodgers' rotation. After Dreyer shut down the Mariners' threat in the top of the 6th, the Dodgers answered immediately in the bottom of the inning to restore their comfortable advantage. Teoscar Hernández, starting as the designated hitter in place of the resting Ohtani, had been quiet for most of the game. But in the 6th inning he stepped up and delivered the kind of moment that the Dodgers needed from the player filling in for their biggest star. Hernández launched a solo home run, his 9th of the season, that pushed the Dodgers' lead back to 4 runs at 6-2. It was a significant hit for multiple reasons. First, it immediately answered the Mariners' two-run sixth and made clear that the deficit was not going to close any further. Second, it was Hernandez's most impactful contribution of the entire series, coming in the spot in the batting order where Ohtani normally delivers the damage. The home run was also a reminder of something important about this Dodgers roster. When the team rests Ohtani, as they did on Thursday, the lineup does not fall apart. Hernández, Betts, Freeman, Rushing, Pages, Tucker, there are enough capable hitters spread throughout the order that opposing pitchers cannot simply attack one or two spots and hope for the best. The Mariners found that out in painful fashion on Thursday night. Let us step back and look at the complete statistical picture of Thursday's game, because the numbers reveal a lot about how the Dodgers won this one and what it means going forward. Roki Sasaki, 5 1/3 innings, 7 strikeouts, 2 runs allowed, ERA reduced to 4.64. His record moved to 5-5 on the season, but that number dramatically undersells what he has been doing since the break. In his 3 second-half starts, against the Yankees, the Mets, and now the Mariners, he has a 1.50 ERA. He has gone at least 5 innings in every single one of those outings. And in each case, he has given the Dodgers exactly what a number 2 or number 3 starter is supposed to provide: enough length and enough quality to win the game. Mookie Betts, the 2-run double in the first inning was the most important swing of the game. On a 2-strike count, against a pitcher who had been 1 out away from a clean inning, Betts stayed disciplined and delivered the kind of clutch hit that has defined his career in a Dodgers uniform. Without that hit, the game could have been completely different. Dalton Rushing, the 3-run home run in the 4th inning effectively ended the competitive portion of the game. His 12th homer of the season came at exactly the right moment, with runners on base, a decent lead already established, and the Dodgers looking to put the game beyond any reasonable doubt. Rushing delivered. Teoscar Hernández, in his role as the designated hitter replacing Ohtani, Hernández hit his 9th home run of the season in the 6th inning. It was the kind of contribution that shows why the Dodgers have so much confidence in the depth of their lineup. Bryan Woo for the Mariners, 5 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 8 strikeouts. His strikeout numbers were strong, but the Dodgers found him for all the damage they needed to win the game comfortably. The Mariners fell to 23-33 on the road, a record that tells you everything about why they could not win a series in Los Angeles despite taking the opener on Tuesday. They have now failed to win a road series since the end of May. The Dodgers finished the Mariners series with a 2-1 result, splitting after losing the opener and then winning the final 2 games back-to-back. But the specific way they won those 2 games matters as much as the results themselves. In Game 2, Eric Lauer gave them 6 innings of one-hit baseball and Edwin Diaz returned from 85 days on the injured list to record the save. In Game 3, Roki Sasaki delivered 5 dominant innings without Ohtani in the lineup and multiple players stepped up to provide the offense. Those are exactly the kinds of performances the Dodgers need from their roster heading into August, not just winning with Ohtani but winning in different ways with different contributors, and with the depth that makes a championship team genuinely dangerous in October. The trade deadline arrives on August 3rd, just 3 days away. The Dodgers are expected to add bullpen depth before it closes, potentially bringing in a high-leverage reliever or 2 to address the inconsistency that has cost them in close games during this homestand. Tyler Glasnow completed 4 scoreless innings in a rehab start for Single-A Ontario on Wednesday night and could slot back into the rotation as early as next week. Blake Snell is progressing. The roster is getting healthier. Site index equals 16-1, Blake Snell checked off a milestone in his rehab, completing 4 innings for Ontario last night. Dave Roberts said the Dodgers have yet to decide whether Blake Snell will need another rehab outing or not after he went 4 scoreless innings with Ontario last night. /site. And Ohtani himself, rested Thursday, knee continuing to recover, offensive form returning with back-to-back productive performances in the previous 2 games, is the player the entire organization is building toward having fully healthy and fully locked in for October. The Dodgers are 69 wins and 40 losses. The best record in the National League. The favorites to represent the senior circuit in the World Series. And after this homestand, with Diaz back, Sasaki finding his form, and the lineup showing it can produce without its biggest star, they look every bit the team that was built to be standing at the end. Here is the bottom line from Thursday night at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers won the series against the Mariners. They did it with their best player resting. They did it with a young Japanese starter who has been one of the most improved pitchers in baseball since the All-Star break. And they did it with contributions spread across the lineup: Betts, Rushing, Hernández, that prove this roster is genuinely deep enough to handle whatever challenges the second half brings. The questions that remain are real ones. The bullpen still needs to be addressed. Jack Dreyer, Tanner Scott, and Alex Vesia have had inconsistent stretches this homestand. Ohtani's pitching timeline is still uncertain. And the competition in the National League is not going away. But the Dodgers have answers coming. The deadline will bring reinforcements. The injured list is returning pieces one by one. And when this roster is fully healthy and fully assembled, with Ohtani on the mound, Diaz closing games, Glasnow and Snell in the rotation, and the deepest lineup in the league hitting every night, the rest of baseball should be very, very worried. One series at a time. One game at a time. The destination is October, and Los Angeles is right on track to get there. That is all for today. Smash that like button, subscribe to Baseball Tribune, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a story. Drop a comment below. How impressed are you with Roki Sasaki's second half so far? We want to hear from every fan watching. Share this with every Dodgers fan you know. We will see you in the next one right here on Baseball Tribune.